why are so many travelers women? You know, it's like everywhere I go, all I see is groups of women, and mostly just solo travelers that are women. You know, this morning actually I was reading, and I've heard something like this before. I don't know if it's actually this high, but like I said, I see it everywhere. Apparently, 80% of solo travelers are women. And about 60% of travelers in general are women. And I don't think that's some sort of strange coincidence. I think in a way, it's a sign of a deeper cultural issue. I think basically what it boils down to is a lack of encouragement, especially for young men. I mean, I think in this world, we always are seeing, or at least people are saying to women, like, go out, explore, like, find yourself, you know, go see the world. You know, you're free, like, you have so much time to get a job and whatever, find a partner, for example. That's totally fine. And I'm definitely not saying don't discourage women. That is not the point. But the point is that I don't see that same same encouragement for young men. Rather, mostly discouragement. And I mean, I understand, like, there's a lot of guys out there that, you know, they're not doing anything to help themselves. And I'm not talking about the people who are bitter or angry, but I can tell that a lot of men in general are feeling discouraged. Like, for example, I read YouTube comments on certain videos about how young men aren't doing well in school, for example, and a lot of the time it's kind of like an attack on young men, the videos themselves, and they're saying, oh, don't do this, don't do that, you gotta figure things out, but they're not really giving like a strong sense of direction and purpose, which is what I think most men are lacking. And I think it's a fair assessment for me to make because I'm someone who kind of lives an unorthodox life. I've been doing a lot of traveling and pursuing content creation, and I don't sit around and wait for an answer. I don't sit around and feel sorry for myself. You know, I just had to eventually say, this is what I want to do. This is a vision that I have. And I just got up and pursued it. But nobody necessarily told me that I should. And a strange thing about that too is ever since I began sort of traveling, trying to pursue creative endeavors, it's been mostly women that I've received encouragement from. Like strangers, but also in my family, it's mostly the women that seem to have a better understanding of at least what it is that I'm trying to do in some ways. Funny enough, too, my TikTok audience is like roughly 80% women. Mostly women, mostly encouraging comments and so on. YouTube's not so much. And a lot of the, like I would say almost all of the sort of bitter or negative comments I get are usually coming from men. And I'm not blaming them necessarily. But I'm also not going to pity them or cater to them specifically. But I think it is another symptom of the lack of encouragement that these guys are receiving. They feel forgotten or unseen, perhaps. And I mean, it's something I've been thinking about recently, like I said, traveling, because I mostly see women out. Oh, I have like this great vision for my life, and they're out exploring, and then I'm doing this and gonna pursue my career after blah blah blah, you know. But it seems like they have more of like a support group in a lot of ways too. But that's just a recent observation. I mean, honestly, it's something I've seen my whole life growing up. Like, for example, when I went to trade school, a couple of the women there weren't paying to be there. Like, there was this thing called Women in the Trades, and basically they got their whole school paid for by the government, which, that's great. Cool. People should be encouraged to be in the trades, but that's exactly it. It's people, not just specifically women. And I guess they think, well, there's already enough men in the trades, they're doing okay, but really they're not actually doing that okay, I would say. And it's more just like, the difference is, yeah, women were saying, go out, explore, and find a career that you enjoy, where men is kind of more like, take on responsibility, make money, and figure shit out on your own. But not everyone can just figure everything out on their own. Another example is one time I was thinking about this as well, is there seems to be a total lack of support for young men, so I actually went online and I looked it up. Support for young women, and there was like page after page, like scholarships, women's support group, like women's career aid, women's mental health support, for example, like all legit websites, tons of them offering great things. Then I flipped and I just looked up support for young men. I think maybe I found one website that offered something. Otherwise, it was almost all just articles, some of them even written by women, funny enough. All articles about how there isn't enough support for young men. And it's also just a deeper thing in society, in the sense that I also don't think that the men have very strong male role models in a lot of cases either. Like, funny enough, a lot of the men who I really respect, a lot of close friends of mine, didn't have any support or direction growing up. Like, a lot of them grew up without fathers, or they grew up with a very bad relationship with their father. And so they weren't getting the support that they needed at home. And like I say, I really don't think they're getting the support they need from society itself. So the fact that there's all these female travelers is just a symptom of a deeper problem. To me, it also ties into the fact that women are doing better academically across the board. Like I was reading about this too, where women actually, on average, have higher grades in every subject right now, as well as they're 6 percentage points more likely to graduate. And now actually most post-secondary students are actually female. And I think, it's like I just talked about, it's a huge boost of encouragement for women to do these things. Which, like I say, that's fantastic. And clearly it's working. So why shouldn't it go both ways? Because the point too is that you're not discouraging women by encouraging men. And seeing this as a pattern, personally, when I see a young man trying to do something, I don't ever give him any discouragement, no matter what it is. Like, I want to go traveling. Go do it, man. Like, even just something more classic, typical is like, I was looking into this plumbing program. I want to maybe give that a try. I'm like, do it, man. Go for it. You know? Because I know what it's like to have a lack of encouragement. And I think that's why, in a way, too, it kind of gives me a good position to speak on this, because, yeah, nobody ever told me to go do what I'm doing. I just went and did it. But I don't think everyone should have to do that. I don't think everyone maybe is capable of doing that, because it wasn't easy. It's not easy to just have that internal voice that says, doesn't matter what these people say, go for it, do your thing. So that's why when I look around and I see mostly female travelers, I'm not thinking like, oh, it's just because they're privileged and that's why they can do it. It's not necessarily true. It's more about who was actually told that they could do it. Woohoo! Woo. So if you're someone, if you're a guy specifically, and you're thinking, you know, maybe I wanted to go travel, go do it, man. But if you're thinking anything you want to do, I'm serious. If you're serious about it, just believe in yourself, man. Go for it. And if nobody else is going to encourage you, let this be the encouragement that you need. Thanks for watching.